Hello students, welcome to the English composition class. Last time in the previous class we learned actually how to write message. Okay, so you now are very much aware how to write message writing. You know why to write the message? When you are not able to talk to any person to whom you want to inform or share some information, that time you write a message, right? So that is message writing. Now, before writing a message, we have also learned some important points which we have to remember, keep it in our mind. Okay, now let's see what are those points. We'll just have a quick recap. Okay, so we are going to have a quick recap of how to go about, how to write message. Okay, so that you will be able to now one more type of message you are going to write. So before we go ahead, we will just go back and recollect what we have learned. Now, points to be remembered before writing a message. Now you very much remember, right? We have written a message. So just go through the points. Draw a box. So you are going to draw a box first. Now I hope you know now box means how much big it should be. Okay, you can write, you can draw the full square, or you can draw only the three sides of the box, and the bottom line you can leave it. Once you finish writing your message, then you can leave one line and you can draw a line to complete your box, right? So that is what you can do. Then you have to write the word message in the center of the box in capital letters. Message, M-E-S-S-A-G-E. Then you have to mention the date. Okay, so date, when you are writing, that date you have to write. You also have to mention the time, isn't it? So you are going to write all this information, keep it in your mind. So when you are reading or telling, or when you are informing, when you are writing, you have to keep all these things in your mind. Box, message in the center. Okay, the word message you have to write in the center. Then you will write the date and then the time. Right? Now let's move ahead. Then the salutation. That means to whom you are writing the message. That is also important. Otherwise, how the person who is receiving will know, right? Who is writing. So that salutation is important, and for whom it is written. Okay, so the person for whom you have written, you will be writing that person's name, right? Or you will be referring to that person. So if you will not write the salutation, the receiver will not understand exactly this message is for whom. So for that purpose, you are supposed to write the salutation. Then you will write the main part, that is the body of the message. Now you have to write only the important points and important things which you are supposed to mention, which the receiver is supposed to know. And how many sentences? 3 to 4 sentences you are going to use for writing the body of the message. And how will be the sentences? The sentences will be short. So you have to write short sentences. Okay? And while writing, the speech of writing, when you are writing the way, it will be an indirect speech. Okay? And you can use any tense of writing while writing. Okay? According to the situation's requirement. So these are the important points which we have kept in our mind. Yes, you have kept it in your mind? Yeah. So these points you have to keep in your mind. So these are the basic points which you have to keep it in your mind while writing the message writing. While writing the message. that is. Okay, so now today let's see what we are going to learn. Yeah, now this is the message format. Okay, how we have done the message. In the previous class also you have seen this. So what it is? Box, you can see the message in the center. Then you have to leave a line, blank line, right? That cross indicates what? You have to leave a line there, a blank line. You will not write anything. Then you will write the time. They are important, right? So the receiver will know when it was written and at what time it was written. So it will help the receiver. Again, you have to leave a blank line, right? So you will leave a blank line. Then you will write the salutation. Of course, to whom you are writing a message about that person's name, you are going to write there. Now, again across, that means again you have to leave a line blank. Now you will write the body of the message. Okay, you have to write the body of the message. So you will use 40 to 50 words. That means 3 to 4 sentences. Yeah, in that you are going to complete your body content of the message. Whatever you want to inform, whatever you want to share, that you are going to include in this. Again, you will leave a blank line, right? And then you are going to write the name. Now, what name you are going to write? Do you remember what I have told you? Yes, what you will write? Your name, your own name, or the name which is mentioned in the question. Yeah, I hope you remember that you have to write the name that is mentioned in the question. Okay, so you will write that name. Then again you will leave one line and then you will complete your box. So this is the format. So this is the common format which we are again going to use, okay, in today's class also. Okay. So today also we are going to learn about message writing, but in a different way. Format will be the one and the same. Okay. Only the information which is available to you is little different. Today we are going to learn about telephonic conversation. Okay. We are going to learn how to write a message using a telephonic conversation. Now, what does that mean? Okay, now in the previous one we saw that there were two persons included, you and the receiver to whom you are writing a message, right? So only two. So whatever you wanted to write from your side, you included that to that person so that the information is complete. The receiver is able to understand what you want to write, right? Yeah. Now, in telephonic conversation, it is little different. Here, you will have to just go through a telephonic conversation. That means, suppose there is no one at home, you are alone, and you get a call. You receive a call. Okay. Now that call which you have received is not meant for you. It is for someone else. Maybe your father, your sister, your brother, or your mother. So now here what you are going to do is, first you will listen to the telephonic conversation. You will have a conversation going on between two persons about a third person, about someone else. Okay, so in this conversation 3 persons will be included. Directly you and the person who is talking and the other person about whom you are talking. Okay, so that will be a telephonic conversation. Now, how to write this telephonic conversation? How to use this telephonic conversation for writing the message? That we are going to see. Okay, now before we write a message, okay, telephonic conversation is used here, right? So now let's see what important points we have to keep in mind while writing the message over the telephonic conversation. Okay, So let's go ahead with some important points. Now these are the new important points. Previously also you have kept in mind few important points. They will be the same here. But few more points you have to keep in mind while writing the telephonic conversation. Now let's see what are those points. Yeah, so here are the points to be remembered before writing a telephonic message. Now let's see what are the points. Now when a message is received over the telephone or in person for someone who is not there, then that information or the message has to be passed to the concerned person. Now what that means? Now telephone conversation is going on. That means it is of course between two persons, right? Two persons are talking there, having a conversation. Now they are talking, but the phone you have received, you got a call, you have received a call, but that phone call is not meant for you. It is for someone else. Okay, maybe it is for your father, brother, or your sister, or even your mother. So it is not meant for you, but you have received the phone call. So in this case, when you receive a message, you have received some information. Okay, now it is your work to pass on that important message which you have received to that concerned person. That means for whom the telephone call was meant. Now that person is not at home, right? So because of that only you received a call. So what you are going to do now? You have just asked for the information. You have got all the information. The person who has called has told you the information which has to be passed on to the other concerned person. So that is your work now, to pass on the message. Okay, so that is your work now. That is what you are going to do. So in the telephonic conversation, your first point is that you have to pass on the correct information to the concerned person. Okay, so that is what you are going to do. Okay, now let's see what is the other point. Now in this case, 3 names have to be mentioned. Okay, now you have got a call. So conversation took place between 2 people, right? Yourself and the person who has called. So here the person who gave a message to you, okay, and the person who received it, that means you received the call, okay, and the person for whom it was meant. So 3 people are included here, right? So here what we see in the telephonic conversation, 3 people are included. 3 persons are included. The first one is the person who gave the message, that means who called, and the person who received it, that means you have received it, and the person for whom the call was meant. So these 3 people are there, right? Now all the relevant details have to be mentioned in short. So whatever information you have got from that first person, the person who gave a call, okay, you have to keep in mind all that information, and that information you have to produce, that is you have to write in the main body content of the message. Okay, so that you are going to write in short. All the information you are going to write in short, right? So that is your work now. Then you also have to keep in mind the date and time when the message was received. Okay, now the date and time when the message was received should be written. So you should not forget when you got when the call was when you received the call. Okay, so you have to mention that also, and when. Okay, so you have to mention all these three things. So what you will do first, you will just recollect all the information. Okay, you have to pass all the necessary information to the concerned person who was not at home, and you have to pass the message to that concerned person, right? So that you have to keep in mind, isn't it? And then you know how many people were involved here in this conversation. You yourself, right? And the person who called, and for whom the call was meant. That is the third person, isn't it? Now then you will write all the things, information which you have in short sentences, right? Then you will write the date and the time when you got the information, that is when you got the call from the person, right? So that also you have to write. Okay, so these are few important points which you will be using, and you have to keep it in mind before and while writing the message. Okay, so when you have a question about telephonic conversation, you have to just go through it, go through the question, read the question properly, and then you have to start writing. Okay, now let's see one example question which I framed here. You receive a telephone call around 4 p.m. from your mother's office when she is not at home. So your mother is not at home and you got a call, you received a call from the mother's office. You have the following conversation with the speaker. Okay, now I'll show you the conversation also. So you have the following conversation with the speaker, but you have to go for your drawing classes. Okay, so you are not going to be at home when your mother comes to tell about the call. So you are supposed to write a message now, because you had to leave for your class, your drawing classes. So leave a message for your mother regarding the same. Okay, so what the question says, that you got a telephone call and they have mentioned the time also, around 4 p.m. Now from where you got the call? It was from your mother's office. Okay, and when the call came, your mother was not at home. So the message, you have to pass the necessary information you heard in that telephonic conversation to your mother. So how you will pass? By writing a message, because she is not at home, and when she will come back, you will be not at home because you have to go out for your drawing classes. Okay, so now let's see the telephonic conversation. Okay, now here it is. Now it is between two person. One is Rahul, you can see there, and one is Mr. Rastogi. So Rahul got a call now. He has picked up the receiver and he is answering. Now Rahul, hello. Now Mr. Rastogi is responding. Hello, may I speak to Mrs. Dixit, please? I am Naresh Rastogi from the office. Rahul, Mom's not at home right now. Then Mr. Rastogi says, in that case, can you give her a message? It is urgent. Please tell her that the meeting fixed for tomorrow has been rescheduled. Ask her to check her mail as soon as possible for the details. Please don't forget to inform her. Rahul, don't worry, I will tell her as soon as she returns. Okay, so this is the telephonic conversation which we just now read. Okay, so here you can see two people are talking. One is Mr. Rastogi and the other one is Rahul. Okay, so there is this conversation going on between these two person. Okay, now let's see one more time what was the conversation. Rahul, hello. Mr. Rastogi says now, hello, may I speak to Mrs. Dikshit please? I am Naresh Rastogi from the office. Now Rahul says, Mom's not at home right now. Okay, so now here we come to know that a phone call is meant for whom? It is for Mrs. Dikshit. Now who is this Mrs. Dikshit? Yeah, it is Rahul's mother. Okay, it is his surname Dikshit. So it is for Rahul's mother. The phone call is for Mrs. Dikshit, who is Rahul's mother. Now she is not at home. That is what Rahul told. Now what? So Mr. Rastogi says, in that case, can you give her a message? It is urgent. Please tell her that the meeting fixed for tomorrow has been rescheduled. Okay, so that is the main information, right? Please tell her that the meeting fixed for tomorrow has been rescheduled. Ask her to check her mail as soon as possible for the details. Now, what he did, this person is Mr. Rastogi. Okay, now he came to know that she is not at home, right? Mrs. Dikshit is not at home and he has to just pass a message. So in short, he told Rahul that, okay, you just tell her that the meeting which was supposed to be held tomorrow has been rescheduled. So the timing and the date has changed. So now what is the new timings? Now he is not going to tell Rahul now. So what he did, he just told that, okay, you tell your mother to check her mail. Okay, so all the important details about the meetings are there mentioned in the mail. So he tells Rahul to tell his mother that to check the mail as soon as she comes because it has all the details. And he also asks him that you have to pass this message and tells him that not to forget. Okay, so don't forget to inform her. And then Rahul also assures him by saying, not to worry, don't worry. I will tell her as soon as she returns. Right? So in this case, this is the question, the telephonic conversation which we saw just now. And based on this conversation, we are going to write the message. Okay, now the format will be the same one. Okay, the one which we did. Same format, only we have to include here some extra information. Okay, now let's see how we are going to write the message. Here you can see it. Again a box is being made. Can you see the box there? Yeah. Then in the center it is written as message. It is in capital letters. Right. After writing message, what we have done? Remember the cross? What it means? Yeah, leave a blank space. So what you have done? You have left one line there. Yeah. Then you have to mention the date. Okay, you have to mention the date. So here you have mentioned the date 24th April 2020. Then you have to write the time. Now you have to write the time. Now the time here you are going to write when you started writing, okay, the message, that time you are mentioning there. So it is 4:30 p.m. Now for whom the message is? Mother. Okay, so what you did after writing time, we have left one line there, right? We have left there one line, blank line is there, and then we have written the salutation. That means to your mother. Okay, so what you have done, you have written the name of a person whom you have written the message. Okay. Now it is again after writing the salutation, you have left one line. Okay, you have left one line here. So now it reads as, okay, it reads as Mr. Rastogi from the office. Okay, Mr. Rastogi from the office called around 4 p.m. Okay, so here the time is mentioned. Mr. Rastogi from the office called around 4 p.m. today. So when? Today. To say that the meeting fixed for tomorrow has been rescheduled. He wants you to check your mail as soon as possible. It is very urgent. Okay, we have finished with the body part of the message. Then again one cross, that is leave a line, and then you have to write the name. Yeah, now I hope you remember you have to write the name which is mentioned in the question. So what was the name in question? That means in the telephonic conversation also, right? When the dialogues were going on, when the conversation was going on between two people. Okay, so who received it? Rahul received it. So whose name will be here down? Rahul, right? So in this way, we have written a message with the help of the telephonic conversation. Okay, so one more time I'll read out what you have done. We have written message in a box with a capital letter. We have written the date also in a correct way. Then we wrote the time when you are writing the message. Again a line is left there blank. Okay, then you wrote the salutation, that means for whom it was, mother, you wrote that. Yeah, then you started with the main part, that is about the information which you want to pass to your mother. Okay, about what Mr. Rastogi told. So what was told? That Mr. Rastogi from the office called around 4 p.m. today to say that the meeting fixed for tomorrow has been rescheduled. So you are writing the main thing, right? The meeting was there and it has been rescheduled, which was tomorrow. And further information what he is giving, he is also saying that he's also writing, actually he's writing that he wants you to check your mail as soon as possible. Okay, that means when the mother comes back, she has to check the mail also. Okay, so when she will come back, she will get this message, she will read it, and she has to check the mail, because all the other important points, information are mentioned in that mail. So it is very urgent. So when it is written it is very urgent, that means it is really important. So if you write like this, your mother is of course going to check the mail first, right? It is urgent, important, necessary. Yeah, and then what you did, again a line is left blank, and then you wrote your name. Your name means the name which is mentioned in the question, that is in the telephonic conversation also, right? I hope it is clear now, and it is as simple as we have done before, the simple message writing which was between two person. Okay, here only I have mentioned that person, other person who gave you a call, that person's name, when he called, and what information he gave you to pass it on to your mother, that, right? So in this way you have covered all the relevant information, all the important things which you want to pass it on, which your mother should know when she come back. Okay, so in this way, this is the message writing which we have done with the help of the telephonic conversation. Okay, now I have one more assignment for you, which you are going to do it. Okay, now it goes like this. Read the following telephone conversation between Mrs. Pandit and Shikha. Shikha is about to leave for school within 5 minutes. Okay, and her mother is not at home for the moment. Write this message on behalf of Shikha. Now what is the question? Again the same. Telephone conversation will be given. You have to go through it. You have to read it properly. Okay, now it is between Mrs. Pandit and Shikha. Now Shikha is about to leave. Now she has to go for school within 5 minutes. Now she is going to leave for the school, for her school. So now mother is not at home at that moment when she is leaving. So of course what she will do? She will write a message for her mother, and whatever information she got from Mrs. Pandit who gave a call, that message, all the information you are going to write in the message, right? So now here 3 persons again are included. Who are they? They are Mrs. Pandit who gave a call, and there is Shikha who received a call. And for whom it is meant? For Shikha's mother who is not at home, right? So we have 3 persons here, right? So this will give you an idea, right? You have to include whose name here? Mrs. Pandit's, right? So when you will writing the message, you are going to include Mrs. Pandit's name. And then who are you? What is your name now? Yes, Shikha. So you are Shikha now. So you are going to write a message on behalf of Shikha. That means you will write a message for your mother, and you are Shikha, right? And who gave you a call? Mrs. Pandit. Okay, so this is the question. Now let's see the telephonic conversation. Mrs. Pandit now. Hello? Is that Mrs. Rao? Now who is this Mrs. Rao? Yeah, Shikha's mother, right? Shikha's surname is Rao. Now what Shikha says? No, I'm her daughter Shikha. May I know who is speaking? Now she is asking who has called. Now Mrs. Pandit says, I am Mrs. Pandit speaking from Arya Enclave. I wanted to speak to your mother urgently. Okay, now this Mrs. Pandit is there. She wants to talk to your mother urgently. And of course, mother is not at home, right? Now Shikha says, she is not at home now. She has just gone out. If there is some message, I shall give her. Now Shikha is asking Mrs. Pandit that if there is any message, okay, I will pass it on to her. So what Mrs. Pandit says now? Tell her that the society meeting will be held in the clubhouse today at 7 p.m. Okay, so what is the information? Tell her that the society meeting will be held in the clubhouse today at 7 p.m. So you can see that all the important information which you want to pass it on, you are supposed to pass it on to your mother is here, right? In these lines, that the society meeting will be held in the clubhouse. Where what is the place? Where is the venue? Clubhouse. When it is? Today. And what time? 7 p.m. Right? All the relevant information is present here. So you have to include this. Then the Shikha. You needn't worry. I shall leave this message for her before I go to school. So here she is assuring Mrs. Pandit that whatever information you have told her, whatever information is told, she is going to pass it on to her mother. Okay, so she is going to leave the message for her. So this is the situation now. Now based on this telephonic conversation, you have to write the message. Okay, now one more time we will go through the telephonic conversation, which will again help you. Shall I start? Yeah. Mrs. Pandit. Hello, is that Mrs. Rao? Shikha. No, I'm her daughter Shikha. May I know who is speaking? Mrs. Pandit. I am Mrs. Pandit speaking from Arya Enclave. I wanted to speak to your mother urgently. Okay, so that is what Mrs. Pandit is saying. Then Shikha says, she is not at home now. She has just gone out. If there is some message, I shall give her. Mrs. Pandit says, tell her that the society meeting will be held in the clubhouse today at 7 p.m. Now Shikha says, you needn't worry. I shall leave this message for her before I go to school. Okay, now it is clear to you. Okay, what is the information you have to pass it on about the society meeting. I hope you will be able to write the message. Okay, you have followed the format. You know the format now, what you are going to do. So you have to do that. Okay, I hope you have followed it. So today here we have come to an end of our class about message writing. Okay, so here we have finished with message writing. You have learned now. I hope you have followed the way to write the message. A format was told. It was shown to you. We went through few important points, right? So in this way we have completed our topic called message writing. Okay, see you then.